Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons today. Atlanta made a bunch of moves during free agency and during the NFL draft, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, free agency is over, the draft is over, not a lot of moves left out there. However, Atlanta not only still has money in cap space, as we will see, but there are still some pretty good free agents out there that technically, if Atlanta wanted to go out and sign some people, they have some options. And I'm going to give you 5 options today in this video that Atlanta could go ahead and sign the next couple of days, weeks, months leading into training camp, who could further improve a roster that is greatly improved from where it was at the start of the offseason, but still, as we know, has a lot of holes overall. So let's jump into the big picture here. Not a lot of money, but still enough to make some moves, right? The $13.7 million right now in free cap space, according to Over the Cap. That is enough to sign some of the, big names, quote unquote, that are left out there on the free agent market. And again, there are some decently big names that I was surprised are still available. You guys will too here in just one second. But the question really is, will they want to make another splash before training camp? Because a lot of these guys who are left, they have something, I don't want to say wrong with them, but there's either, a nagging injury, they want too much money, they're getting a little bit too old, and so you would have to find the right piece at the right position to fit the right fit in order to be worth it in terms of actually signing one of these players. Because most of the guys on this list are going to be a one-year deal. You're going to get them for 1 year, try and improve a little bit at the position that they play, and then move on. And so will they actually make a move for any of these players? I don't know, but at least we can take a look at some of the guys that are available who could help the Atlanta Falcons going forward. Ad break pin commented down below. We'll start with this. Are the Falcons done signing people? Like, are they done during the free agency period? Or do you expect them to sign anybody else? If you do, type Y down below for yes. If you do not think that they are done signing people, type N down below for no. All right, first player on the list, I think the one that makes the most sense to me is Jadeveon Clowney. Now, you think about Clowney, you go, okay, obviously highly talented whenever he came out, dealt with a lot of injuries. I think 2 years ago in 2020, he was a Tennessee Titan, did virtually nothing. He actually played very, very well for the Cleveland Browns last year, as we'll see his stats in just one second. I think that he could be the best option on this list because obviously Atlanta needs pass rushers, and, on a cheaper $5-6 million deal for 1 year, maybe you could bring him in and help out Grady Jarrett and some of these other young pass rushers develop into hopefully some future stars. We'll look at Clowney's stats here in just one second. First, be sure to subscribe to this channel because we are giving you guys all offseason long great coverage regarding your Atlanta Falcons. If they make any sort of moves, if they were to sign Jadeveon Clowney, we're going to have a video for it. Mailbag videos happening later on this weekend. Plenty of great content. If you guys like the Atlanta Falcons, you like the channel, go down below and subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well, the way you are notified whenever we drop our most recent videos. Speaking of Clowney's 2021, look at this. Like, did you watch a lot of Browns games last year? I know I didn't. I had no idea that Clowney played this well in 14 games in 2021. 9 sacks. He was relatively healthy, too. I know he missed a couple of games there, but 9 sacks, 11 TFLs, 32 quarterback pressures. You're telling me Atlanta couldn't use that for $5 million a year with their remaining 13 in cap space? I just don't see that this would be a bad idea overall. And again, they added some young guys. They're very excited about Ebby Katie out of Penn State. He's kind of their newest, pass rush tool. Got another guy in the 4th round. Renzo Carter coming off the edge of the linebacker spot. Like, they have some young faces there and some young opportunities to potentially become some good pass rushers. But throw in Clowney, if he gave you 8 to 9 sacks, again, for $5 million a year, and could kind of mentor these young guys, I wouldn't hate it. Would not hate the move, and I think that it definitely could be something to kick the bucket on. And I don't know if Clowney's time in Tennessee went ahead and overlap with Arthur Smith. I can't think of the time frame there, but potentially they did, and so who knows? Maybe there's a connection there as well. All right, next one here is a little dramatic. This is for drama. Julio Jones. Now, it's not necessarily completely ridiculous because Atlanta does need some wide receivers. We've seen them sign a bunch of B-list wide receivers, but we at least mentioned Julio Jones from the fact that maybe he could give you some mentorship for Drake London, right? That's kind of the thought process there. Now, I know the real question is, one, would he want to even come back to Atlanta after the whole Shannon Sharpe phone call and seemingly like he wanted out of Atlanta and he wanted to win right now? So the odds of him coming back to Atlanta are like next to nothing. And also, can he even play anymore? Like, is Julio Jones even going to play in the National Football League in 2022? Like, you look back to his past couple seasons, he's been an absolute nothing burger. Ever since he left Atlanta, he basically did nothing. Atlanta won that trade with Tennessee. Bringing him back is a little bit dramatic, and I wanted to include him on the list just to see what Falcon fans would say. I would even be interested in bringing back Julio Jones. I think that there's plenty of room for upgrade at the wide receiver spot, but Drake London is supposed to be the next guy, and maybe you just kind of let Julio stay on the free agent market, let someone else sign him because he's been a problem in the past couple of years with health, but at least mentioning him as one of the better free agent wide receivers left in the market, because if you wanted a free agent wide receiver, there's not much left. He's kind of basically it. What do you guys think? Would you sign Julio Jones? Type S down below for sign or type P down below for pass. I bet most of you will say P for pass. I will too, but at least got to mention him when looking at some of the better pass catchers left on the market right now. All right, next player is another Jadeveon Clowney-like player, another pass rusher, Jason Pierre-Paul. I'm surprised Jason Pierre-Paul is a free agent right now. Obviously dealt with a lot of injuries last year and is getting older up there in his career, but here's another option you throw $5 million at. You hope that he stays healthy, and he mentors the young guys. I mean, 2 years ago, during the Bucs Super Bowl run, he was basically their best pass rusher on what was a very good defensive line. As we mentioned, the Falcons' defensive line depth chart, talked about it with Clowney. You can say the same stuff here, right? They've improved it. It's the best we've seen in a very, very long time. You don't necessarily want to waste money on some of these older guys. Think how bad the Dante Fowler signing was. But Pierre-Paul could give you some mentorship. And with the free cap space, like, what else are you going to do with it, right? You might as well use it. And so Clowney, Pierre-Paul, both of which I think could make some sense on a one-year cheap kind of veteran deal to come in and give you some playing time, be a rotational guy, and mentor these young pass rushers who hopefully are going to be the future for the Falcons on the outside. All right, we'll get into our top two here, or our final two, in just 1 second. First, the golf season is back. The PGA Championship happening today. Now, you're wondering why I'm talking about golf. We have golf polos, or at least polos, that are on sale right now at chatsports.com/Falcons Polo is the link that you need. Red and black. I mean, you get this two-pack combo is the word I'm trying to get out of my mouth there for $50. I mean, it's $25 a polo. And these are the nice ones too. Jetsports.com/Falcons Polo. You're going to hit the links this weekend. Rep your Falcons. You get the red or the black. You are not going to be disappointed. The link will also be down below me in the description box, so check that one out as well. All right, next option here, I wanted to give you an offensive lineman, more of a tackle option in case the Falcons needed to upgrade there. They don't feel confident in Caleb McGarry at right tackle. Duane Brown is technically a free agent. Now, technically, Atlanta, I think, feels pretty confident in their offensive line, or as confident as they can. I don't know if they feel great about it, but they think Caleb McGarry, not exercising his fifth-year option, is an improved year, and he's bulked up a little bit, and they hope that this is the year he kind of comes into his own. And so right now it's McGarry at right tackle. They think they figured out, some rotational options in the middle, and then left tackle obviously being, the veteran who's been there for a very, very, very long time and kind of the best offensive lineman on the roster. When you look at the the right tackle position, Jalen Mayfield, is supposed to kind of be the competitive push there for Mayfield. And so maybe if both those guys struggle in training camp, you could bring in a guy like Duane Brown. The issue you have with Brown is that even though he still plays at a high level, he's 37. Very much would be a one-year cheap veteran, like come in here and save us sort of move. And apparently he's still talking with the Seattle Seahawks where he played last year. So no guarantee he stays on the free agent market for any long period of time. But technically he was kind of the best tackle option if you're worried about Caleb McGarry. So I wanted to include him on the list. Although I think the Falcon O-line is going to be better. I think the mobility of Mariota, the mobility of Ritter versus Matt Ryan will solve and amend some of the sacks we saw Matt Ryan take this past season. It's not great. You talked about grading the Falcons' current offensive line, which I want you guys to do right now in the comments section. It's a B-, maybe a C+, but last year it was a C-. Like, it was really bad last year, and so hopefully it will be much improved going into this season. Not great, not top 5, not top 10, but top 15 in the league. I'd be fine with that. All right, final player on our list. He's last on the list because the odds are extremely unlikely, but worth mentioning, another wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. Now, you could use Odell Beckham Jr. 100%. I mean, this would be an incredible upgrade over what you have right now. Drake London and a healthy OBJ would be pretty darn good. I mean, that sounds fine to me. The question really is he going to actually be on the free agent market for other teams minus the Rams? It feels like the Rams right now, according to reports that have been out there for the past couple of weeks, are trying to re-sign him. And so, why not go back to the champs and play with Matt Stafford and an offense that fit him very, very well? I mean, the stats last year in 12 games, he did have, 74 targets. He had 593 yards, 7 touchdowns. Not great, but a healthy OBJ for the entire season could be a 1,000-yard receiver again and get you closer to 8 or 9 touchdowns. But it does feel like he's going to try to go back to the Rams. Also dealing with a knee injury, suffered in the Super Bowl. You saw that, obviously, the ACL. He's recovering well. Everything we've heard in terms of, reading blog reports and reading different NFL insiders have said that he's healthy. Again, very, very long shot. I think Atlanta has signed and traded for the receivers, Bryan Edwards, Geronimo Allison, that they wanted to have on the roster, Auden Tate. But if they get to training camp and these guys are still available and they feel like they are still missing some key pieces, then this is definitely an option to throw out there. Probably the other best wide receiver available besides Julio Jones. Is there a player from my list? I think the pass rushers are the two best players on my list, Clowney and Jason Pierre-Paul. But is there anyone else that you would want the Falcons to sign if they were to continue to dip back into the free agent market? You got Julio on there. You got Duane Brown, Odell Beckham Jr. There are others. You can Google, best free agents remaining. You'll see some of those that are out there. But these to me are the best 5. If there is one that you like, let me know who that is down below right now. Our ultimate day on our Atlanta Falcons news and review video here, breaking down 5 free agents, the best 5 I think that could fit the Atlanta Falcons scheme going forward. Help out Dean Peeves defense or Arthur Smith's offense. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Mailbag video happening later on this weekend. We will answer the 5, 6, 7 best mailbag questions that you guys have. With you guys' help, go down below, use the hashtag Falcons and ask away. Again, also every time we have for today on the video, Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.